I had a fear of, you know, a fear of not being able to survive. You know what I mean? So like, I'm like an underdog in life.
Yeah.
So I have to catch up. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So there's a bigger fight. There's a big, you know, so everything that I attack is almost like it comes from something deeper than just what it is, you know, what it is. Basketball was my outlet. That was the thing that saved my life and changed my life. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I still have a lot more to like make up because it's allowed me to see so much, help so many people, you know what I mean? Even learn and be able to help myself.
Yeah.
And allow myself to be helped. So there's still a bigger kind of game and a game of life where I'm an underdog and I'm trying to like, that's kind of like where my driving mentality
Yeah. Here we are. Baron Davis, BD, the man, the myth, the legend, in your backyard right now. How far was your high school from here?
Maybe like 4 blocks away.
Okay.
I used to play flag football right here.
Really?
Yeah, they kicked me off the team.
Why did they kick you off?
One, I was scoring too much.
In flag football?
Yeah, it was too friendly, and I was playing real football, and so, you know, me and the coach weren't really getting along. I was like, man, it's just, I couldn't commit to, you know, practice at school, but then also I had, you know, real football practice, and so.
So you were doing both?
Yeah.
So you were just coming over here and running kids over?
Yeah, and I knew at Crossroads in high school, I was never going to be able to play tackle football again.
Okay.
So I had to quit.
Okay.
We kind of like.
You're like, I'm just gonna cut it right now, pull the Band-Aid
off.
off.
You know, I need the helmets, the shoulder pads, and all that.
So is this like traumatic for you to come out here, or is this like
that brings back good memories.
Good memories. Okay, not bad memories.
9 touchdowns a game.
Dude, that was unstoppable.
Yeah,
you
they were like, hey man, like pass to somebody else. I was like, dude, I'm throwing the ball. Like,
oh, you were throwing it. Okay.
I mean, they weren't catching it. So I just take off and run it. You know?
That's why is that what I figured. So you had flag football. What was the other thing? You doing soccer?
Yeah, we played a little soccer. Yeah, this was actually like when our PE campuses, the school we went to, we didn't have a campus. So we had to go to like different parks and things.
Okay.
Like that, so this was one of the spots.
Dude, that's crazy. So how did you end up at Crossroads? Like, because you lived out of the area? Because it's a private school, right?
Yeah, I was from South Central. And, the school, my elementary school nurse was really good friends with my grandma, and they always talked about just, you know, wanting me to get out the neighborhood and get bused somewhere, anywhere. You know, everybody, I think my sister was aware of that, just because the environment of, you know, just the middle schools in my neighborhood, that's when, you know, a lot of action and stuff started happening.
Yeah.
And my AAU coach at the time, you know, he was like my big brother mentor, and he worked for K-Swiss. And they had sponsored like 4 high school teams. 3 Catholic schools and a private school, which was Crossroads. And he went to a game and he saw like one of the players, and it was a small point guard. His name was Trayvon Dugar, and he was, I want to say 5'5", 5'6" at the most. And he was out there starting and playing varsity. And so my AAU coach, kind of big brother, was like, man, dude, you know, like Barron's not going to grow. This could be a cool situation for him.
Were you short at that point? Like they thought you were going to be a little guy?
I was tiny.
Okay.
I was 5'3" in 9th grade, 5'5" in 10th grade.
Oh, you hit it late.
Yeah.
Super late.
So I was a late.
See, that's what they said was going to happen to me. They're like, oh yeah, we checked you. They literally did the X-ray, and they're like, you're going to be 6'1", 6'2". I'm like, cool. That late thing never worked out. So I'm glad it worked out for you, man.
But nobody ever told me I was, you know, going to be tall or anything. And I believed it. I didn't think I was going to be, you know, that tall or this tall. And you know, the school was just like, it was good, it was diverse, and we went and visited, and my grandma was like, oh, this is exactly what you need. I didn't really think so, but you know, just kind of trusting in her and trusting in my coach, you know, it was just the perfect opportunity. You know, it seemed like the perfect opportunity for me.
That's dope. So was your grandma like who raised you? So
my grandma raised me. My grandma and grandfather raised me. Grandfather passed away going to my 8th grade year.
Wow.
High school, yeah.
So you guys are super close.
Yeah,
you and Grams, yeah.
close, yeah.
That's crazy. So she was like the mentor, and it sounds like some people saw potential in you as an athlete, and like, we want to get him on the AAU team. We want to get these older, better players. Maybe not better, but older players that can take them under their wing. Or it was all you?
It wasn't
like your own self-drive, I guess.
No, it wasn't like, because I was already playing AAU.
Okay.
Like AAU happened just by like happenstance.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
at the Inglewood Y, and I got invited to play in like a game like the next weekend when the championships was over, and I was just like, yeah, and I showed up, and then one of the refs was like an AAU coach, and he was like, hey, can you come to practice? And I showed up at practice with no practice. And just so happened, my AAU coach, Thad, the guy who got me in the Crossroads, had went up to the gym to handle some business. I was just sitting there by myself. And so
I love this guy already.
I didn't have a ride home, so he took me home. And then when he took me home from, Inglewood to South Central, we talked, and he met my grandmother. And then that's how I got on the AAU team, because he was like, damn, dude, this kid could use a break.
Yeah.
And then like just playing on the AAU team was just really like, that was the only team I was on. So it wasn't like how AAU is now.
Yeah.
It was more
where you're bouncing around.
Yeah.
Where's the hype?
And there were only like maybe 12 AAU teams in all of that, like 12 really good teams. 12 good teams, but everybody had teams, but it wasn't like 150 teams and things like that. There were more leagues and more like tournaments, and they were localized and just a little bit more organized and structured.
Yeah. So do you think, like, so obviously I've always been the little guy, underdog. Like, it definitely shaped who I am today as a person outside of basketball and all that kind of stuff. But being smaller made you work harder at a younger age, and maybe kind of gave you an advantage later on. If you had been, it's easy to look back like, oh, I don't know what would have happened, but if you had got that height early, maybe you just would have rode the coattails of it, not put in the work. Or do you think you always had that mindset of?
I think me being, I would say my underdog is not like, being small, having a little man complex. Like, I never really had.
Yeah.
I never really had that.
I may or may not have that.
I had a fear of, a fear of not being able to survive. You know what I mean? So like, I'm like an underdog in life.
Yeah.
So I have to catch up. What I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a bigger fight. There's a big, so everything that I attack is almost like it comes from something deeper than just what it is, what it is. Basketball was my outlet. That was the thing that saved my life and changed my life. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I still have a lot more to like make up, because it's allowed me to see so much, help so many people, you know what I mean? Even learn and be able to help myself.
Yeah.
And allow myself to be helped. So there's still a bigger kind of game and a game of life where I'm an underdog, and I'm trying to like, that's kind of like where my driving mentality is.
No, that's amazing. So how is your grandma still around?
No,
or how far did she see you get to go in this cool journey that you've been on?
My grandmother passed away the week after I got traded from the Clippers.
Okay, but she got to see the college and got to see that.
She saw a lot. She wasn't a huge basketball fan.
Really?
She wasn't a basketball fan at all.
Okay, yeah. She was a Barron fan. Yeah. Oh, that's what he likes. You could have been drawing. Yeah, she would have been there.
I don't really think she watched a game. When she went to the game, she was hardly ever paying attention. It was just more about, it was just really more about me and our relationship and our connection. And that's what made the thing so special. It was like, I remember her going to a Warrior game, and they set her, honored her.
She got taken care of.
So dope.
Yeah.
Set her at half court. And I remember, we were up at halftime, and I was like, man, I gotta play hard. We gotta blow this team. So I can, like,
she doesn't come to too many of these games.
So we're like, it's halftime. I think we have like 15 or something. She's over there like feeding me popcorn, like asking me if I want popcorn.
She's not know what's going on.
Layup line. She's like, come here. Here, you want some cookie? I'm like, no, I'm playing, Grandma.
Make sure you're nice to everyone.
She's like, you want some popcorn? Here, give him some popcorn.
Don't embarrass me.
I'm playing.
She was really giving you the popcorn.
No, she was really offering me popcorn at halftime.
Oh, she sounds like a sweet lady.
And then I think like Matt Barnes or Steven Jackson actually like dipped their hand in.
You're like, oh, God. Yeah, of course you did. Matt Barnes.
It made me feel bad. Like, I'm trying to be all professional.
Yeah. That's so funny, man. Well, you have a lot of cool stuff going on. Like, some of the shows, actually reminds me two things. I got to put on my interview shirt Dude, so you got a lot of stuff going on right now. You got the TV shows, the production company. Oh, shout out, I forgot, Black Santa in the building. Do I need to call you? Are you the Black Santa?
No,
or because that's people always ask me. I'm like, I don't know, man.
No,
just a
Black
shirt.
Santa
Baron Davis,
Black
check it
Santa.
out.
It's like, Black Santa is Black Santa.
It's just, yeah.
I mean, some people you see, on a park bench, and people with, you see an older white dude with a big white beard. You call him Santa Claus.
Yeah, look who it is.
Hilarious.
You want to pull up on this guy real quick? Yeah, wait, so what inspired you and gave you the idea to do this? And what are you trying to do with it? It's more than just a clothing line. It's like helping people.
It's a movement. For me, it's when I first thought about it, I was like, oh, this would be a fun movie. And then when I started thinking deeper, it was like, man, I really want to be able to like send a message in this movie and be able to touch people and create something. And I just started like creating characters and worlds and perspectives, and what would he see and how would he talk, and what were the things that he would say yes to and no, or what are his do's and don'ts, and who are his friends. And then when you start looking at it and you start looking at his world through his eyes, he see and then I start opening my eyes, you know what I mean, and start seeing the people that are around me. That's a diverse world. You know what I mean? That's not a world that sees an age or a genre or a color or a sex, you know what I mean, or a discipline or a religion or a practice or whatever. It's just like we're all people, and we all want to laugh. We all want to listen to good music. We all want to like play sports, eat good food, and be entertained, and eat, and like celebrate each other and learn each other. And so when I started really thinking about Black Santa, I started thinking about, what is the cultural relevance? What is the way that we can culturally solve people's perspective and change, my kids and their friends who are like 1 and 2 years old? How do we change their perception on race so they don't, you know what I mean? So we can actually, so they can be the ones to teach us, how to erase racism. You know what I mean? And how to include and how to appreciate. So it's not just about Black Santa, but it's about him and all these diverse characters.
That's a lot. I was like, dang, this is like, I'm like having a spiritual experience right now. I'm like, this is like, what is happening right here? No, that's cool. So it's so much bigger than just like, because I wear this. And people come up to me all the time, like, bro, what is that? Like, people are always fascinated, especially when I'm wearing it. They're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh no, it's dope. This is Black Santa. What do you know about him? So, dude,
and we wanted to bring, some, and then take it from a business perspective. Like, we wanted to challenge, status quo. We wanted to disrupt Christmas, break up the way that, Hollywood or people are presenting these stories, and say, hey, man, like, this is the coolest version of of Santa that you'll ever get, and start to change people's mind. And then also like diving into other holidays and holiday characters. And so for me, it makes the world fun because one, I get to relate to my kids, but I get to relate to people like you. I get to relate to some, and even older people who have been collecting Black Santa figurines for the longest. It's like now there's a story, and now there's a person and someone concrete that we can actually all share and build around.
That's so funny. That's crazy. It's like it's a movement. Black Santa is a movement. It's not just like apparel or brand. It's a movement. I got it. So what are you most excited right now about what you got working on? You got the Black Santa, you got the TV shows. Is there anything in particular? Like, what's the big challenge for you now, post basketball, that you're excited about is like your new thing?
I would say always Black Santa, because it's a huge undertaking. It's a big IP. It's a big business. And for me as an athlete transitioning to being an entrepreneur, is really like finding the disciplines that work from sports and making that translate, but then finding the other disciplines from business and the necessities and the tools that you need and the people you need to make it work. You know what I mean? And so
100%.
That's always a challenge, whether you've played basketball for 20 years or been in business for 20 years. Starting your own company is definitely a big undertaking, but we're definitely pointed in the right direction. So I think, I'm most excited about Black Santa because the holidays are coming. Then just also excited about like all the projects that we're doing. the George Gerving documentary.
Yeah, I heard there's some cool projects. Chris was telling me, like, bro, ask him. He's got projects for days right now. The shows.
On a project with Chris Brew.
Okay.
And those guys. Just kind of like we really want to change the way, or we really want to add to the culture and make things for the culture, and what young people and people like us, in this millennial or above millennial culture want to see.
Yeah, I love it. So I love something you just said, because that's something that I do a lot of translating the lessons that you learn from sports into your life that carry over. So like here it's like a bunch of life lessons of what you take away, what you learn, the hard work. I used to go to Little League games with my dad. Believe it or not, we had baseball in Alaska. It was like on the snow and the dirt. It was awful.
Crazy.
And we watch the games like this, and we feel like this, and it wasn't like who hit the home run or who made the great play. It was like, what did the guy do after he struck out?
Yeah.
Like, what did he do after he bobbled the ball? Did he blame the umpire, slam his helmet? And we could see if that person was going to be a winner, not just in the game, because this is fleeting and it's temporary, and it's meant to teach us something bigger.
For sure.
And so for the thing that I preach and that I'm big on is attitude is everything. Like, you can't control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond in every situation. We need the ball out brands for all the out right now. That's what I see. This would have been a good plug. Shout out, ball out. You don't know about it. It's not. It's a little more swaggy.
Body wash, deodorant.
Coming soon. You'll see. But what if you're going to do one lesson from sports to carry over to business for you? What would that? I feel like I know what it's going to be. But what would that be that you've taken away from the game of basketball and now you're playing it to like all the business ventures that you're doing?
What do you think it is?
Oh, well, just because of what you just said. You said surrounding yourself with the right people. So at a team, point guard, you got to make sure you can yell at one guy. You got to talk timid around another guy. You have to know how to relate to different people. And I see, just meeting some of your team today, that, what is it, NASCAR Speed Raceway around here? Putting the right people in place, that knowing, hey, here's where I'm good. I'm good if you give me a basketball and a mic and some kids, like but I'm not going to do the accounting paperwork and all that stuff. So I just thought you were going to go there.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. You're like, good, that's where I was going. That's where
I would say, for me, what made me whatever player people think I am or was or whatnot, or how I was fulfilled as a player, was I did the research. And so even if I didn't know or I never saw someone, I knew them. You know what I mean? And so in business, do the research. You know what I mean? Get the education, because no matter what, it may not be that one particular thing that you're set on. But if you have the information, you do the research, you do the education, then you're an expert in that. Yeah. And so it's not the first one, it's just like playing basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not the first game, second game. But once you get in that rhythm, you know what I mean? Or by your third season, after your rookie and second year, you're starting to figure it out. And then by season 7, you know what I mean? You're an all-star. And you know what I mean? So it's just
that challenge.
But if you pour into that research, you pour into that education and know what it is you're getting into and become an expert into it. You know what I mean? Then you can bring your expertise and your creativity to that, you know, and then all the right people will surround you at that point, you know what I mean? Because it'll be easy to find a team because you have something to offer. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I would say that would be kind of like what I would impart as far as basketball and business is, fill yourself with the information, be an expert, in what you're doing and what you're talking about.
You're good at this, bro. You've done this before. No, I love that. It's like a fun challenge to me. Like, I always like defense, and most people I feel like don't. But like, it was like in the research sense of how do I stop this guy? But I want to stop him and have him not know how I'm beating him, so that he can't make that correction. Everyone could push someone left and make it very obvious, but I'm going to push you left without you knowing that you're going left. And that was always like the fun challenge to me. And I feel like that's part of like doing the background, finding out your thing. So when you can come, you can be undeniably great.
Absolutely.
And then you always have a spot. Right. And you're always
defense allows you more possessions. The more stops you get, you know what I mean? The more opportunities you have to score. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The more turnovers you force, the more opportunities you have to score, blocks, et cetera, et cetera. That's why they say, defense wins championships, because the name of the game is scoring. If you can stop somebody from scoring, you know what I mean? You win the game. All you have to do is score at that point.
No, I love it. Two things, because it's getting hot and you got to get out of here. What was I gonna? Oh, I remember when I went to school in San Diego, and one of my teammates came up to me one day. He had a video. It was Steve Nash and you, I'm pretty sure, on skates down at Venice Beach, and it was hilarious. I don't remember exactly like what was going on. What was the deal with that one?
It was like a Step Brothers spoof. So
okay.
Steve Nash and I,
greatest movie of all time.
Yeah, we wanted to just get together at that point, you know, as two stars in the NBA, and start, you know, just showing our, like, we got personality outside playing basketball and be serious. Being serious and politically correct, inspirational. Like, we want to be silly too, and I think that, you know, it just, the internet and digital media gave us a platform to really like showcase, like, we can write, produce our own stuff. And,
well, made people be like, oh, these dudes are funny.
Fans.
These dudes are funny.
Yeah. And so the fans start to see a different perspective, and I really think it starts to open up. Just like a lot of athletes showing who they are in videos and things, and now like they taking it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's a whole brand. That's so funny. Those vitamin spots that he did, where he's like being like all into himself and Zoolander or whatever, those were comedy.
Those are hilarious.
Yeah, those were good. Last question, then we're getting out of here. If you were going to go back to yourself, let's say 10, 12-year-old, 14-year-old Baron, and give yourself one piece of advice, because a lot of this is kids, a lot of this viewed by kids a lot, so that's why I'm targeting that. But if you were going to go back and talk to like the younger version of you and give yourself one piece of advice, what would that thing be? I should have prepped you beforehand. I'm sorry. You're really having to wing it today. I like it.
No, that's a good one. I would say if I was talking to the 14-year-old me, I would say, you know what? Like, just keep doing it. Just keep hooping.
Yeah.
Stay focused. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't add too many people.
Yeah.
You don't need
small
a lot
circle.
of people. Yeah. You don't need a lot of people. You don't really need anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say to a 14-year-old kid. You know, you don't need your mama. You don't need your daddy. You know what I mean? You don't need your sisters and brothers.
Yeah.
You need yourself. You need to believe in you, and you need to trust you, and you need to confide in yourself. You know what I mean? Because you know what's right from wrong. You know what I mean? And you know those decisions that you need to make, and you know who to let in. You have a gut and an instinct, and a lot of times you have a lot of good people around you to help encourage that, but it ultimately comes down to you. So life is a lonely journey. 14-year-old Baron Davis, stick to yourself, believe in yourself, and keep a small circle.
Bro, I love it, man. I appreciate you coming out. I really, I'm really excited to see the things you're doing now after basketball and how you're helping people and telling stories.